Privyet, it's Enflux, and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Level 25 podcast. I
I
am
like the name.
I'm joined here by none other than Chris Bidwell himself. Chris, how are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty all right myself.
Thanks for putting this together. I'm glad somebody picked up the ball and went for it. I like this.
Yeah, I'm excited. I don't really know where this is going, but we'll see how it does. Um,
Hope to not ruin it for you.
I don't think you can. So, uh, Chris,
Hmm?
what's like the Spark Notes version of who you are in this community to someone who might not know?
So I've been a game collector for about 25 years, and has as I've gotten deeper into that scene, I got into other subgenres of retro and classic gaming, and among those were the Classic Tetris World Championship when I met Ben Mullen at a convention in Milwaukee when he showed the Ecstasy of Order at a panel there, and I kind of got involved in that scene.
Oh, cool.
And simultaneously, I was a bit competitive myself in other games, and I made the finals of the 2015 Nintendo World Championships, which coincidentally was a Dr. Mario tournament, basically. And kind of those two worlds melded together, and I became more involved in the classic Tetris scene as I became an announcer and a helper organizer for them, for Vince and Adam Cornelius and the others there. And you know, birthed from that was the we wanted to do a live tournament for Dr. Mario because Tetris was super successful, but there were a lot of Dr. Mario players in that scene who wanted something similar, and I had connections at other conventions, and we started up the Dr. Mario Championship at Replay FX in Pittsburgh, and it's taken a life of its own, and we're here. We are today. Is that short enough?
Yeah. And among all those other things, you're also the second place competitor for this month's Dr. Mario Monthly. How are you feeling about that?
Oh, that felt great because I felt like I was playing like crap all year. I think I'm better than my one win up to this point,
Mm,
and I don't think I'm a top tier player, but I think I'm better than bottom tier. So it was good to get some wins on the board, and I think I got a little lucky. And then I hit that brick wall that known as Dimwit and got my butt handed to me. But it felt good to get that far and to bring some excitement, especially with DRMC coming up this weekend.
yeah. If you don't mind, I'd love to delve into your matches in the monthly. Uh, just I watch a lot of footage. Every minute that is recorded and uploaded to the YouTube channel, I watch over and over. Um,
Wow.
well, I love to see like both perspectives because it's different than versus, right? It's a speed run, and so you've got two
Hmm.
different people doing their own different things. And um, I noticed some interesting coincidences among your matches. In the first three rounds, you went up the first game or two to push your opponent to the brink of elimination,
Uh-huh.
and then had to suffer as they clawed back to even with you. Um, and I'm just curious about your mentality in those moments. Do you think that when you're ahead, you're playing maybe a little more comfortably, and when you're facing elimination, you might put on more gas?
I'm certainly aware of that, and I try to maintain a press down attitude, like always be pressing down.
Hmm.
I don't know what acronym that spells out, but we should make something cool for that. Uh, and it's really hard to maintain that edge over the course of an hour. And
Oh yeah.
call it a biorhythm or whatever you want to call it, that just seemed really how it worked out. I started off strong, I kind of faded away a bit, and then I woke myself back up. And these players are so good in this scene that if any loss of an edge you get is going to be taken advantage of. And that's, I think, what happened, the narrative of what happened in all my matches.
Yeah, it's tough too. I mean, when your opponent is facing elimination, they then have the gas lit under them. So
Right, and you could take a little more risks,
exactly.
but honestly, I try to approach every match the exact same, and I don't build super combos. I like as little drop time as possible, and I noticed, by watching top tier players that they incorporate the combos and maintain most of the speed. Although I watch a Dimwit and he's not pressing down all the time.
Mm.
So, maybe I do have to get a little fancy again with my gameplay, but I'm not looking for a world title or anything like that. I'm just trying to get better at what I'm currently doing, and then maybe I can pepper in the bigger combos as I get deeper into this.
Yeah. In round two, there were some interesting moments in the commentary where JB and John Nash mentioned that they disagreed with a couple of your placements. Specifically, I think they were seeing horizontals that you didn't go for. And I noticed that a bit of that myself, not going for some horizontals. Is there what are you going for instead? Is my question.
Well, if I see one, I go for it. But I think you know this. When you're playing Dr. Mario, you're laser focused on a particular problem. And in my brain, I try to have like a place for all three multicolor pills. And then if I do get a double color pill, I try to treat that as a gift, a special present.
Mm-hmm.
Try to put that somewhere where it's most effective. And I'm not always going to see the horizontals. I it's I just need more practice, I guess. But I see them normally, and if I'm doing like my combo building, of course I see those. But in those, I'm building elaborate Rube Goldberg machines. I'm not looking for the absolute speed. So I notice I get
Yeah.
picked on a lot for missing horizontals. But I try to, I guess somebody described it as a packy style, to where I'm just going for nothing super elaborate, but I will set that up if that's my only option. I don't like setting up the combos unless that's my only, if I'm buried or if I have like certain pills that a certain path to get to something underneath, then I'll set
Yeah.
up a combo. But generally, I like to get that one or two combo move, just a simple less than a second of drop time,
Yeah.
and it's served me okay. I'm getting better. Like I said, I'm qualifying a little bit better and better. I'm getting consistent high 16s, early 17s now in my qual runs. But
Yeah. You can't really
I,
argue
I
with
got room to
results.
improve. Yeah,
About your qualified, that's your personal best, isn't it?
yeah. I've been flirting in the 17s. If I put in a few practice sessions, I'll split between 16 and 17. If I don't hit 16, it's a major disappointment,
Mm.
and I try to get that 17 run every time. But I'm about 50-50 maybe.
Yeah.
And in fact, that was my second run where I got the 17. The first one I had like a 16, kind of a slow one. It was a 16 and quite a few left, I believe.
Yeah. And this month you kind of need a little bit more. There were 16s that didn't make it almost.
Yeah, yeah. That's the future of this. If you watch the classic Tetris scene where to qualify for any major tournament, you basically have to max out the game. I think our equivalent is you're going to have to hit 17, and maybe another year or two down the line, if we maintain the trajectory, maybe 18s even.
Yeah. I'm horrified, but I would also love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, you've been in the scene for a few months, and you're already mid-tier player. I think we're kind of equals. I think if we played matches, we'd be fairly even. And you've just started, so imagine your ceiling. I think I'm approaching mine. So,
I appreciate that. Maybe if work lets me play, I will get in on one of these monthlies again.
hey, do what you can.
And so I hate to make you relive it, but in the finals match against Dimwit, I noticed you had a lot of fun prior to the match, taking down your decorations to emulate the Dimwit style of blank room. Uh,
Yes,
but even as in the first game, I noticed that the Bidwell bounce, I think they were calling it, was somewhat absent. Were you kind of demoralized going into that
I
match?
I tried to get more serious. I knew I was behind, and
Mm,
I wasn't feeling that I was in. I get bouncy when I know it's close, and I have to be super precise on every move. If I'm in the dimwit match, I was fairly behind most of the time, and I'd lean in a bit. But yeah, and it's also not a conscious thing. I'm trying to exert energy, and maybe I ham it up a little bit, but uh, I maybe I don't know. I just didn't feel it.
yeah,
Long answer.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's tough to compete when Dimwit is setting ridiculously hot times.
Yeah.
I think you called him Hotwit at one point.
Yes, I did.
But I think that you put up a very good showing, especially for your first time competing in that level block in this year,
Yeah.
was it? So,
I don't think, yeah, no, ever. I've never been in the finals block. I
dang.
certainly didn't choke. I made the semis one time last year. I tend to have like, I've got like one deep run a year apparently. That's been my MO. So maybe I'll have a little bit better go at it next year and maybe a little more consistent. But with the caliber of players, I think that we really will have to consider doing same piece sets at some point because I think the players are so close. It is kind of coming down to what board you get rather than the talent of the player.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's been a gripe all along and constantly mentioned in the commentary, the RNG, the RNG. But
Yep,
uh,
yep. And, it'd been a long match the previous one, and yeah, it's a feel. And when I'm going to play live next weekend, I realize that could be a little obnoxious to my opponent if they don't know me. If it's just some walk-up person who's like, "Ooh, Dr. Mario, that looks fun," I'm not going to be bouncing around and screaming at their face.
yeah.
That'd be kind of rude. But if I play Packy, you're damn well right. I'm going to be yelling at them and all everything else because that's my only shot.
Man, I can't wait to see that. So about the championship,
Mhm.
that's happening this Saturday. That's
Yep.
pretty exciting.
Yeah. I've got a lot of work to do still. I kind of procrastinate with some of the little things. Not the healthiest attitude, but I'll have it all ready to go, and I really hope everybody who shows up has a really good time because that's the number one reason why we're all there. I mean, Dr. Mario is a fun game and all, but the people are what going to bring me back. If I've said it with Tetris before, that if Jonas Neubauer were a jerk, people wouldn't have stuck around and kept coming back every year. And with that strong foundation, everybody else kind of built upon it to what we have now. So my goal with our scene is to make sure we have good people who show up and have a lot of fun with each other and enjoy being around one another. And it's Dr. Mario. We don't need extreme salt. I don't think that's ever really going to happen. But I think we got a good foundation, and I hope that a lot of people getting their first taste of this community in real life on Saturday are gonna come away and really be excited to come for even a bigger tournament next year.
Yeah, it might be a little tough for the players who just walk in and join the pools if they think I'm pretty good at this game. I used to play it and face Packy. That might be a little
Every
demoralizing.
year, we've had a walk-up person make the top 8 when our first 3 years in Pittsburgh. Now, mind you, that was a video game show, and it was a lot of competitors because there was the Pinball World Championships there. But every year, I can't. I'm so bad. I should have had the names up front, but every time some Rosemary in 2018. And darn it, there's a number one seed who made top 8 who just like, oh, Dr. Mario, I want to play, and then she makes top 8 and it doesn't win the whole thing. And
Yeah.
Packy kind of and I guess this kind of dovetails a little bit into our seeding system. It's not perfect. It's based on pool play, so if you play a bunch of scrubs, you're gonna have a very high ranking, and that's kind of what happened to JB last year. He kind of got a super easy pool and got a super high seed, and kind of was shocked when that didn't pan out. But so we've tweaked it a little bit. The pools are now 6 players instead of 4, so that should even it out. So you're not going to get 4 scrubs you're playing against. So we'll see how it turns out.
Okay. So your role with relation to the tournament is tournament organizer? Is that the official
Yeah, the
title?
founder, the founder, the organizer. I
Founder,
don't want to be
organizer?
president. The long bar. I don't know, the red pill, the red blue, whichever is the most prestigious or not prestigious. Whatever. It's kind of my baby. Vince Clemente's helped me out because he kind of said, I'd love to have a Dr. Mario tournament like CTWC, but I don't want to have to do anything. And of course, I started up, and he's too good at what he does to not do things, so he helps out with graphic design and layouts for the stream and all that other extra stuff that I don't think about. So he's been a tremendous help. But yeah, it's I like I like fostering everybody else up because I've had my glory with the 2015 Nintendo World Championship, and I don't necessarily need to win another title or anything. I'm not going to start up a tournament for me to win. Not that I have the talent to, but my goal is to give everybody else a chance at glory, and so far that's been the case.
That's really cool. I'm certainly really excited. I've never participated in a live event, anything like this, and this being my first tournament, I'm also not expecting to win much fame or glory, but I will definitely be there to laud whoever does take the top spot.
Well, it's great. I don't know how familiar with like the fighting game scene, but like they'll have these ginormous brackets. You show up to a tournament, you put down your money, and you get into a double elimination bracket. And if you're okay or not really great, you lose one time, you get stuck, you get sent down to losers bracket, then you lose the second time, then you're done for the day. And that to me sounds like a pretty lame experience in my opinion. I mean, this fighting game people might love it, but we have robust qualifiers in the morning. So between 9 and 1, you're going to go in. You can do one pool, and if you finish the pool 4-1 and think, oh, I won my pool. That's a pretty good record. I'll take my seed and I'm done for the day. But if you want to keep playing, jump back in line and try again. Like you can play Dr. Mario as much as you want. And that way, even if you get knocked out in the first round, you might be a little disappointed about that, but you're going to get an awful lot of reps in against an awful lot of people. If you want to play, you can. So I think that system is a better experience for a bigger number of people, whereas in a fighting game tournament with double elims, half the people go 0-2 and they're done.
Mm. Yeah, I'm certainly excited to play a lot of Dr. Mario because I have no one in my immediate circles who are at all interested in playing. So
Yeah.
the chance to get a lot of playtime in is certainly
Yep.
appealing to someone like me.
Jonas had a term that he was about his Dr. Mario skill that he was neighborhood good, and I think that a lot of people who never get to play anybody outside their house or outside their circle of friends never get that enormous challenge of playing somebody equal or even better than them. And so many times, if you read YouTube comments, oh, I'm better than these guys. Oh, I could whip their butts. You know what? Come on down and play us. I mean, I'm not saying that you're not lying. Maybe you are better than us because a few people have come in and, especially in the monthlies, and have destroyed us. But that's how we're going to grow is to get people to actually come on down and try it out. And I think a lot of people, when you play that person who's your equal or better, it is a shock. You're like, oh wait, I'm stun locked. I can't get a single move off here. I thought I was the combo king. I can't get anything out. Garbage keeps falling on top of my builds. So it's a awesome experience. It's humbling for sure, but a lot of people who go through that would probably put in the back of their mind to play better or get some practice in or take it a little more seriously next time.
Hmm. So what's going to make
Mhm.
this year special?
Um, the fact that it's happening at all. Uh, we were our home was going to be at Replay FX in Pittsburgh, and they had to cancel their show, and then the organization that runs Replay actually had to liquidate their stock, and it's no longer going to be an event. So that was kind of heartbreaking because that was a nice 3 hour drive for me. It was a nice, huge convention floor. They were going to put us on the main stage the next time, like the big, giant pinball stage where they had this elaborate setup. And have you watched the videos of those
Oh yeah.
from the 2019? You saw the Ferris wheel in the background. Like that was an
Yes.
insane convention because a lot of those conventions, they're fun. I like them, and this weekend is no different. But they tend to gravitate toward swap meet first. So like all the vendor tables, that's the number one reason everybody's there. And then maybe the panels, and then like tournament play is kind of like the third banana in a lot of these things. Even the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, there's not a lot of tournaments that are that serious outside of CTWC. But Replay was built around the Pinburg Pinball World Championship. So their focus was on playing the games freak. There were hundreds and there were like 200 CRTs with consoles all hooked up to them. There were several hundred pinball machines, several hundred arcade games, and then you had a vendor area with maybe about 20 or so vendors. So that was Pinburg, or that was Replay Effects, and that I think fit our mojo really nicely, and it's a real shame that we can't be there. And then there were two alternate sites that were asking us to be there, and they both fell through. And then Rachel, who I've known for several years, running the small Torg gaming expo here in Ohio, they want to go big time. They want to be the size of PRGE, and she's been trying to get some sort of tournament there, whether it's a CTWC regional or us. And I was dragging my feet with us because we need 2 days, and there's still a 1 day event. And I acquiesced because I wanted to have a live tournament that badly. And Rachel's a great friend. And if they grow and we grow with them from the ground floor, that's good for everybody. So it'll be a bit of a hardship for us to fit all this in a single day on Saturday, but I think we got a good plan. And if we have to stay over a little bit late, they're not going to get kicked out or anything like that. But yeah, the hardship's going to be having everything squeezed into 1 day, but it'll be a one action-packed day of Dr. Mario's be pills to the brim.
Yeah. Yeah, with COVID interrupting everyone's plans, I know that it makes it very difficult for something like this to happen. But I also know that many people are looking forward to, seeing humans again.
Yeah, for sure. Like we've had two small Tetris events, and a lot of these new kids who started playing in the past 2 years haven't really met each other. They've been playing online for a year and a half, and watching them like hang out in real life with one another, it's like, this is so great. Like, yeah. I'm too old to be hanging out with like 19, 20 and teenagers and stuff. It's kind of weird. So I kind of like stay off to the adults corner, but but it's such a nice thing that knowing that the game that I was playing when I was 13 years old is still being played today 30 years later. And I hope the same thing happens. Although the Dr. Mario scene, we don't really have the teenagers involved yet, but the good thing with Dr. Mario is that game there's typically been a Dr. Mario port on every Nintendo console. Of course, no Switch game yet. Come on, Nintendo. But that never died, whereas the NES Tetris, that particular version of Tetris went away up until Tetris Effect Connected just this past year brought back the NES rule set. So it took that big of a groundswell for that rule set to come back, whereas Dr. Mario, the kids aren't so into it as much yet, just because that's maintained over the years, and you could be an N64 Dr. Mario player and pick up the NES version and pretty much be just as good, although the RNG is going to mess with you a little bit, but you'll know the basics. It's not learning a completely different game like the various versions of Tetris through the years.
And not to be too cynical.
That even answered your question?
Not to be too cynical, but I think another thing that will help the community and the competition grow more is cash prize, which is this the first year?
No, we've always had a cash prize. First couple years there was an admission fee, and then the winner got a portion of that. And then the third year, I just wanted a lot of players just to show up and play, so I made it free and I ponied up the money myself. I had a couple fundraisers, and ironically, Heather Ito won that year, and she like donated. So she basically got her donation back with the prize money. It wasn't like a tremendous amount; it was a couple $100, but it that year was so great. We had 100 players come up live because it was free, and people were like, "Oh, I want to play," and then they play, and then they get their, and then the better players floated to the top, and we had a good bracket, and it was a tremendous competition that year. But that year we were so poised to hit the big time, and I think this year the Torg Expo did put up the money, so that's very generous of them, because it's helping out them too, because a lot of people are showing up to this convention. Mm-hmm. Like I said, they want to grow too, so getting more people there gives them more bank so that they can either expand this current venue or find a bigger venue for next year. So everybody benefits, and if you're flying out to Columbus and win a Dr. Mario tournament and win $500, that barely pays for your flight. But it does take the sting out of it a bit. and it is a nice seed that maybe in future years will have even a bigger pool.
Yes. Well, for those who aren't able to fly out to Columbus, they can tune into the channel or the live stream on Twitch,
Mhm.
uh, Doctor underscore M underscore Championship. If you need to
It
look it
does
up,
not flow off the tongue very well, does it? I mean,
it doesn't.
it's a great URL when you look at it, but saying that out loud just doesn't flow very well. We might need to like maybe, if you look up Dr. Mario on your Twitch front page, we should be one of the top results, I would imagine.
There aren't many, not yet.
No, not yet. And the interesting thing with the verses is there's not, like you said, you have little pockets of players, and even the people playing online on their Switch aren't streaming it that much because the bandwidth is so terrible with the Switch NES Online that if you use more bandwidth to stream it, it might even make it worse. So uh, this is a rare treat, like because you basically have to play the game live.
Hmm.
There's not a lot of local competition in these cities, and one of the observations Heather made was that you need that training partner. It is going to be interesting to see how this works out because you really do need that live experience to get better at this. So maybe we'll have more regionals. That's kind of a goal, but let's get through all the way through COVID first before we start making those grandiose plans, and we'll do the once a year until then.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to talk about or add or hit on?
Um, let's talk about you for a minute. So what got you into Dr. Mario? Because it was funny because I was after Jonas passed, I really needed to see people socially. Like it was COVID sucked and all, but not being able to go to his funeral live and see everybody was just a kick to the nether regions. So
Yeah.
in May, once I got my shot, I flew out to California and I was hanging out with Vince and Packy for the week. And we were just in the house and watching Twitch streams, and we just decided to look up Dr. Mario. And there you were playing Dr. Mario. It looked like you had just picked it up, and you were talking all kinds of nonsense about delivered pizza and speed running, Hydro Thunder, and it was we were having a little fun at your expense. Obviously, that's not the nicest thing to, but we weren't doing it. We weren't like commenting or trolling you on your thing, and then but the end around is here comes a month later, and you're like kicking butt in the qualifiers. So all of us kind of have to watch our butts and our mouths when we start talking crap about people.
I think everyone who watched my first Dr. Mario streams was poking fun at me because I couldn't get the aspect ratio right for the life of me. I'm not super tech savvy, so it was a squished pancake of a screen of Dr. Mario, and everyone was like, "You know this is wrong, right?" And I'm like, I know, I'm working on it."
Uh,
But what got me into it? It's always been a game that I love the puzzle solving aspect. I just love puzzles.
mhm.
I got into streaming and speedrunning back in like February, and I was sticking with Hydro Thunder, but it was starting to get a little stale for me. I was getting really burnt out, and I was like, I need something else. And I was like, I like Dr. Mario. Maybe I'll pick it up on the N64. I saw the world record was by Inari, and
Just
I
assume
thought
it's a machine,
pretty much. I
not
was like,
human. Let's go.
that's really cool. And then I looked at a different version, world record by Inari. Oh, world record by Inari on like all platforms I could find, basically, except for the Nintendo. And that one was held by Frank. I was like, finally, someone usurped Inari. And then a month later, Inari took the record. So I knew that I had to start grinding. I realize I'm very far away from getting to that level of play, but I got plugged into the Discord from speedrun.com, and the people are just so wholesome and encouraging. I know you said that, and a few people did poke fun, but they're the same people are so encouraging once you get to know them, and uh, just gave me all the
What do you,
resources I needed to succeed, basically.
yeah, you got to have a little spice. Like I don't, you can't be like whole milk whole, like white milk whole, like that. That's wholesome. That's just a little too over the top. A little spice. I try to be humorous when I do commentary. I try to like making fun of Dimwit's background in his room. I mean, come on, that's totally within bounds to make fun of a grown man with no art on his walls. Come on, but it's a little, it's healthy to have a little bit of that spice, not overwhelming, not horrible.
I agree that the community could use a little more spice. I think that
I think we're a good amount right now, and
I I don't know. I love me some good sarcasm. So that's a my warning to you if I'm ever let into the commentary booth is poking fun about numbers and colors.
well, you know what? The plan is, if we can get everything lined up, is that we're going to stream some of the qualifiers in the morning, and then kind of have people come in and out and just do guest commentary, whatever. So if you'd like a turn at the mic and talk with somebody or talk with chat, come on in. The more the merrier, is my book.
Oh sure, I might take you up on that.
Excellent. If you're not, playing 75 quals in the morning, it's up to you.
It's
4 hours seems like a long time, but it's gonna go by awfully quick. I'll tell you that right now.
yeah. Well, I can't wait. It's going to be a long drive on Friday for me to anticipate the event.
Can't wait to see you.
Yeah, can't wait to be there. So be there or be there online on Twitch until next week. In Dr. Mario and in life, bless RNG.
It's
Thanks
not a
for
bad tagline.
thanks for joining me, Chris.
All right, man. Take care.